White starts off the game with howdy, which is a book move. It's a bit more quirky than the usual hello and leads to good conversation, most of the time. White hits back with hello, who's this, which is again a book move. The usual response when a random old ass man DMs you on WhatsApp. White then moves things along by saying, I'm called Sam, I'm friends with that, let's not say that word, from your work. He gave me your number and I said you were single, ... But of course, ready to mingle, lol. What a blunder. I need to get some fucking therapy after that. No way bro just dropped the N-word in a casual conversation and rhymed single with mingle like a child. The secondhand embarrassment is killing me. This is worse than a chair. I honestly feel like Sneeko. Black picks up the use of the forbidden word and hits back with, ain't no way you've just dropped the N-bomb whilst trying to get a date with me, dash, which has to be a good move. Black picks up the blatant racism from White and attacks it. White responds with, he gave me the pass. Maybe you should give me the pass to your insides, with the winky face. That was already creepy enough, and bro did not need to add that winking face. The only pass here is to Diddy's mansion. Inaccuracy. Black finally decides to say freak, which is both honest and deserving. Very good checkmate. Now, welcome Grandmasters and Grandmistresses to your favorite series on the channel, where Gooner DMs are analyzed like games of chess. Now, let's get into the next match. White opens the game with, hey, smiley face, would you be open to getting some dinner and watching a movie with me? Which is a good move. Unlike all the other elite tier Gooners you will see in this video, this opening is innocent. I applaud you, White. Black responds with, hi, sorry, who is this? I don't have a large majority of my old contacts, lol, sorry, which is a forced move. I mean, what else were they really meant to say? White then hits back with, I'm blank, smiley face. You were in line in front of me at blank in Laguna and you smiled at me. I overheard you giving your number to the employee and I remembered it. I have a great memory and I thought you were really beautiful, so I wanted to ask you out, smiley face. That might be the most almighty blunder, and I take back the applause that I will give to their first move. The opening was so wholesome and then it all went to shit. Generational fumble. There is no creepier way to obtain a girl's number than to eardrop her conversation. Classic D1 Gooner. Crazy way to lose. Next, White opens the game with, you're a girl, straightens tie. Hi, I'm blank, nice to meet you, which is inaccuracy. Anyone who puts a action inside of their messages has to be on the registry for, you know. Black then hits back with, hi, I'm blank, can I join or not? Referring to the job that they want. This is a great move as it steers away from the creepy approach and takes things back to the desired topic. White then replies with, combs back hair, sure, you can join if you want, but where do you live? Not only did bro expose that he has a slick back, but he asked one of the most creepy questions out there and the dumbass expected an answer. He's not me. Blunder. Black, clearly concerned, says, I am not comfortable with telling you that, which is a great move. Don't tell strangers your addresses, kids. For all you know, that could be Diddy. White hits again with the corny stage directions and responds with, slowly massages your breast. We both support Arsenal. You may as well tell me where you live. Black made it clear they were not comfortable, but this information went through one ear and out the other for our Gooner. I like to call this an example of selective listening, which I have a lot. And it is also our first ever criminal move. Learn consent, dude. Black, uncomfortable as ever, responds with, that's a bit too much for me. Bye. And all I can say is one word. Brilliant. Black decided they were not going to deal with White's perverted shenanigans anymore, and I am proud. I'll also be proud of you if you like, subscribe, and join the Discord in the description. Anyways, on to the next game. White starts with, hi, kissing face, extends hand, which is an interesting opening to say the least, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and call it a book move. Maybe Black likes it? Black responds with, who is this? Which is another book move. You know, the usual response when you don't know who someone is. White moves again saying, with 7 M's, gives shy look. Maybe you'll have to find out, winking face, sticks out tongue, which becomes the first inaccuracy of the game. If a girl asks who you are, tell them who the fuck you are. It is not a game of guess who. And if so, you're losing. You're a nobody. You're a Gooner. Black hits back with, I don't know who you are, but I'm about 3 seconds from blocking you, which is an amazing, great move. It puts a clear threat across so White gets the hint. White ignores the hint though and says, oh, no, with like 5 O's, you wouldn't, exclamation point, thinks in head of plan, gets plan, it's blank from blank, WAZ hoping we could ... sweats a lot, hang out, question mark, adjust collar nervously, which is another blunder. It surely can't get any worse than this. I thought the last guy was bad with his goofy ass stage directions, but he was nothing on White here. Jesus Christ. Black somehow conjures up a response and comes out with, aren't you the kid who got caught watching porn in the library? Hard pass, blocked, absolute fucking cinema. That bitch destroyed him with a trophy move that caused White to resign. Watching porn in the library is another level of cooked though, let's be real. On everybody's soul except mine, we all did that as kids. Moving on. White opens up with, do you want to come to my place to get cracking then? Referring to an assignment that the two got paired for. Good move. An innocent way of saying, let's f my place, but innocent nonetheless. Black responds with, you are parents finna be home, which is a great move. It is evident that he knows what's up and is gunning to lose his virginity. Go get that king. White then replies with, yeah, ... why ? Which is a miss. How innocent do you have to be to not understand what Black meant? This is definitely that one person who never understands a dirty joke. Black hits with, you know what, stop playing LMAO, which is an inaccuracy. White asked why, so they clearly don't know the fucking answer, do they? You're too desperate to get active in the sheets at this point. White comes back with, tell me, which is a good move, I guess. Simple and searching for answers. Black finally responds saying, because if they not finna be home, you're gonna leave this meetup with my handprint on your ass cheek, which is a game, losing, blunder on another girl. This might have been the play, but White was way too innocent. Read the room, dumbass. A better move would have been to subscribe to Text Chess and to like, of course. Next match, White starts with, hi, maybe an odd question, ... but is your stream Gooner friendly? Weird ass face. Your model is very cute, which is a rare opening blunder. Any message starting with, maybe an odd question, is an odd question that should not be asked. Stay with me now. Except me, of course, I can ask any question I want. Black replies with saying, no, don't even think about it. I will ban you so fast, which is the best move. Nothing hurts a dirty streamer Gooner more than a ban, and it causes White to resign the match, which means that we have to move on to the next one. White plays one of the most boring opening gambits in the game of, what are you doing? And it's a book move. Nothing more to say other than the vanilla of openings. Black then responds with, taking care of my siblings, which is forced. They were asked what they were doing, so they are explained. Simple shit. For now. White hits back with, what would you be doing if I was here? Which is a great move in terms of Riz. Is it too early though? Only time can tell. Black replies saying, probably still taking care of my siblings, and follows up with, my parents are dead. Holy shit, that got very fucking deep very quickly. Inaccuracy. I get that Black didn't appreciate the Riz, but there's no need to trauma dump, dude. White responds with, oh, that sucks, which is a good move. There weren't any other options for them. Black then says, yeah, which is a good move, you boring bastard. Not only did Black make this conversation awkward, but they had the audacity to kill it. White then responds with, I wish I could be there to cuddle with you, sad face, like an absolute savage. Bro could not care any less about the dead relatives and wants something that rhymes with dead instead. Get it? Head? Yeah, I want it to. Anyway, checkmate. Next match, White starts the game with, you're gorgeous, which is a great move for the opening, and I must say it made me smile a little bit. Finally, a break from all the Gooners. Black responds with, wait, FR? Which is an inaccuracy. He just said you're gorgeous. What on earth do you mean for real? Are you a f***ing idiot? Of course he meant it. White hits back with, yeah, do your feelings reciprocate? Which is another inaccuracy. I can't tell whether this dude is ChatGPT or an F student. How does one use the word reciprocate and use the wrong version of your in the same sentence? What a dumbass. Black comes back saying, fucking reciprocate, are you an AI? But yeah, you are cute, which is a great move. Black and me, we are on the exact same level. Finally, we're seeing some good Riz here, a perfect balance of banter and compliments. Take notes, single men at home. Basically, all of you. White then replies with, would you lose your V card with me? Which is a horrendous blunder. We went from wholesome words such as cute, gorgeous to shit like V card. These guys cannot be a year older than 14. Black attempts to bring back maturity to the conversation and replies with, tad bit early for that, don't you think? Which is a great move, attempting to bring peace and love to this once innocent conversation. On a real one though, who would guess a match starting with, you're gorgeous could become so strange? White desperately tries to save themselves by saying, no, I want to do things to you that you can't imagine, ... I've been thinking about the night I could give you ever since I first laid my eyes upon you. And I have one word, blunder. What was bro thinking? I first laid my eyes upon you. Is this some kind of horny Shakespeare spin-off? Finally, Black hits back with, so you're an AI and a fucking creep? Nothing other than brilliant. The sentence puts the dirty, gross, ugly, disgusting, perverted dick of a player into checkmate. Anyway, that's my rant done. Let's move on to the next game. White kicks things off with, them though, lol, which is an inaccuracy on the first move. You might as well just scream, I have no love interest in you disregarding sex. Weirdo. Black responds with, this her boyfriend, and this is an excellent move. The funny thing is that this probably wasn't even her fucking boyfriend, just a defense mechanism to make creeps leave them alone. At least that's what I say when it happens to me. White comes back and says, tell her I said them these though, lol. And this is a bold ass move, I'll give it to him. It's an inaccuracy nonetheless, but you have to put some respect on his name for chancing this in a possible situation where this really was her boyfriend. Black then replies with, where TF do you want to be buried? Which is a great move. And the fact that she did have a boyfriend that didn't scare away White, then perhaps him being aggressive would. Reasonable logic towards a not so reasonable person. I like it. White finally plays in those bro, duh. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, which is a trophy move. This is the epitome of rage bait and made me piss myself because it was funny as fuck. After this move, Black resigned, allowing White to win by forfeit. By the way, when I said I was pissing myself, I am right now. I'll be right back. Now that I'm back and it's time for the next game. White chooses a rather strange opening and says, I'm jealous of your heart, and this is an inaccuracy. I must say that I have never heard this being used before. Yeah, that was sarcastic, of course it have, and we all know where this is about to go. Downhill. Black responds with, why, lol, question mark, which is a good move. It's a reasonable confusion for an innocent girl on the internet. Little does she know that her innocence is about to be stolen by the next outrageous move from White. White plays, because it's pumping inside you, and I'm not. Dude, what is it with all these gooners jumping straight into the sex talk? Buy her dinner first. Or him, you know, I'm not against anything. This move is definitely an outrageous move, and any man who thinks mentioning sex within 3 messages is a good idea should be sent off to therapy. No, not with their consent. Black closes with, who raised you? Jesus, stop shouting, it's hurting my ears. Anyway, this is the only possible move resulting in a checkmate, shortly followed by blocking the account. Good ending from Black. And on to the final match. White is first to move and decides to play Sweet Dreams tonight. Hope to see you in my dreams, lol. That, my friend, is what we call a wet dream. Enjoy it if your wish is granted. Good move. Black responds with, sweet dreams to you too, exclamation point. Also, sorry if I misread signals or anything, but I'm a lesbian. I like hanging out with you though. White is cooked. She was definitely straight before talking to him. Good move for setting her sexuality straight though. Or I guess it would be not straight? Anyways, White hits back with, you mean you like p***y then deer, winky face? Yes, that is what being a lesbian is, and you don't even correct grammar. You've just shown the huzz that you have the IQ of a kitten, and you haven't even finished what you want to say. Will you suck or play like this, biting lip emoji, exclamation point, XOXOXO. You make me so hard too, it doesn't matter as you like hanging W me. That's an insane blunder. Just because she likes to hang out with you does not mean she wants to do cardio. I would know. She probably would if White was in the Discord server though, so be sure to join it with the link in the description. And subscribe while you're down there.